Almarella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, Kenner, 5th District, 4th District, unincorporated, Jefferson, 38 years. I want to ask a question on resolution number 5 on the Adam agenda. I'd like to know what type of research we've done on MSW, and how do we come to the decision to add them as a subcontractor based on what research we've done? Give us a little background on MSW.
I was going to ask those same questions when we got there. Marty? Yes.
MSW scored very well in the evaluation. The only reason they lost points was because it was a one-man operation. He has 20 years experience. Almost all of his experience was doing landfill cost analyses. He's worked for ISI, BFI. He has a MBA as well as an engineering degree, and his references gave him excellent referrals. So we felt that the committee that evaluated, we did look at it. We looked at his experience, and when it was decided that Postlethwaite and Netterville would be the CPA component, it made sense to put MSW as a partnership with them. They had not done any previous work for either Waste Management or River Birch. They were the only one that had the engineering and the landfill experience. He's managed landfills. He's done cost analysis of privatization of landfills, as well as just municipal landfill operations. So he has a lot of experience in the field.
Mr. Chairman, if I might also, if you recall, initially when we set out to find an entity to evaluate what we had, we put out the proposal, and we had 3 respondents. MS was this particular entity was one of those initial 3 respondents. The one that had the highest grade was one in which it had done work and was continuing to do work for Waste Management. And of course, Waste Management being a national concern, it was very difficult to find anyone with the expertise in dealing with landfills that had not done work or wasn't currently doing work for either Waste Management here in Louisiana or elsewhere. So in the charge we had, we went back and re-advertised and got Postlethwaite Netterville, which turned out to be the financial component of this. But it's also a requirement in doing this to get someone with the expertise to understand the operation of the landfill. I mean, the CPA firm can generate the numbers, which are important, but also the operation part is the important part. This individual, as Marnie said, we vetted him out early on and recognized he had all those expertise, but our concern was being just a sole practitioner, it would have been difficult for him. We were concerned about him in the various aspects of running the financial analysis part. So the combination of the 2 of them together, we think, gives us the best opportunity to get a true value of what we have.
Marty, I agree that we need both the financial background as well as the landfill management background, but MSW being just formed in February, did we run a conflicts check just on MSW, or did we run a conflicts check on the company that he was associated with before to make sure we don't have a conflict with that company that he worked for before working for River Birch or Waste Management? Did we do that?
We ran a conflicts check on Brian Griesbach, and he responded that he had not done any work for either firm. He had worked for ISI, he worked for BFI, he worked for Allied Waste, but he had not worked for Waste Management.
But I mean, there was another firm that he worked with before he formed MSW. Did you do a conflicts check on that firm? Before he
formed MSW, he worked for 8 years for ISI and BFI, which they merged. And before that, he worked for Allied Waste, and before that, he was a consulting engineer. So there was nothing in his references to show that he had worked for Waste Management. When we did the conflicts check, he responded that he had no conflict of interest.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Winner.
Okay, in closing, Councilman Young, I appreciate everything the young lady said up here, and I appreciate you bringing it up here. We just have this individual's word that there's no conflict, or do we have documentation that there's no conflict?
We did a conflicts check morning. I guess he's going to have to sign an affidavit.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a
That,
conflict check with
well,
everyone.
an affidavit that neither he nor any company he ever worked for did work for either River, Birch, or Waste Management, and that should answer that question.
Thank you, Councilman Young, because I believe in documentation. Nowadays, you can't just go by someone's word. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morella.